Welcome back, everybody. Today, y'all know what this is. It's another episode of Conversation in the Cut. Today, we sitting down with one of the people who's helping reshape the culture in Little Rock, from building one of the city's fastest growing vintage clothes stores to creating a cafe and becoming a community hub. He's providing that business that everybody's been looking for to put on the state. Put it on for the state. I got my boy Carlos Ramon from
Yes,
BacktoVida. What's happening?
What's up, bro? Yo, thank you for coming out, man. For real.
For sure. And first off, we always ask pretty much the same question when we start off, and which I say this is pretty much only to the people that got certain type of businesses or whatever.
Right.
Outside of BacktoVida, who is Carlos Ramon?
Who is Carlos Roman? Oh man, I'd say pretty much everything that you see here, bro. I love nature. I love streetwear, art. So everything you see here in the store is literally me, man. Like, you know, I like to go fish. You know, I also like to paint. You know, and I like to design clothes. So, bro, BacktoVida is my life. You know.
And you got a nice ambiance going around here. I want to definitely drop some of that into the video. So we like to start at the beginning as well. Going back to when you was a kid, what kind of kid you say you was?
Oh man, I'm ADHD, so I've always had a bunch of energy in me. So now I will say I grew up in Southwest Little Rock, and at that time it was a little rough out there. But you know, I used a lot of my energy, you know, roaming around and the bikes and stuff out there, and you know, that's how I that's how I fell in love with the urban side of streetwear, right? Like that's where my roots come in as far as like streetwear is when I was a kid. So yeah, man.
Nah, that's hard. So going back, putting yourself into that mindset, what were you? I know you eventually get into fashion. Before the fashion came, what were some of those main passionate things you were chasing after?
When I was a kid, I would say painting, drawing. I was that kid. Either I was the class clown, or I was in the back drawing, man, sketching, cutting out paper wrestlers. You know, that was me, man. That was me.
So, at what moment did you realize you wanted to create clothing specifically?
Clothing specifically, I want to say maybe like around the 15, 16. Yeah, I got into fashion pretty heavy, and then just ideas kept on popping up, and I was like, damn, shit just coming naturally, you know?
Would you say that's this is something like you grew up around your peers? Would you say they seen this, they could foresee this coming, or is this something that you feel is like off the wall?
No, that's a good question. I feel like they would have foreseen it. Like I said, man, you know, from the age of 12 to I want to say like 18, the most important thing to me was clothing. So, you know.
Yeah, hard.
Yeah, sure.
So eventually you get into creating a brand, BacktoVida. Where did the name BacktoVida come from?
Yeah, so like I said, fashion has always been my thing. Now, when I got out of high school, you know, I went into the workforce, and you know, for 4 or 5 years. No, I would say for 4 years. You know, I was just working mostly for money, you know, and I finally got to that goal I wanted to hit, and for some reason I was always looking forward to the weekend, man. I was like, something's not right, and I started, you know, looking into like how to make money off clothing and stuff and reselling, and I came across reselling vintage. So it had to do with fashion and making money. So I started dabbing on it, experimenting, and that's where the name came from. So Vida means life. So at the time I was bringing vintage t-shirts back to life. But at the same time, it was a passion. You know, it was a passion that's always been there that, you know, I went out in the real world and I kind of put it in the back burner because I had to make money instead. So not only was I bringing vintage tees back to life, but I was also bringing passion back to life. So
Yeah, I like all that. I definitely love when a person have a story behind the branding of whatever they're doing. So going back to the start of BacktoVida, what was the original vision? I know you said you wanted to bring T-shirts back to life, but beyond that, what was your original vision for BacktoVida?
honestly, this.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I always wanted to have a brand, and more specifically, my eyes were always attracted by luxury streetwear. So, that was that's always been the goal, is to become like streetwear, but with a little bit of luxury taste to it. So, yeah, man. Little by little, I believe if you stay true to yourself and stay true to your vision, you know, you always know what you want to do. You just gotta stay true to yourself.
That's tough. So, what was the first item you ever sold?
The first garment I ever sold was
Mhm.
a vintage wrestling shirt, bro. It was, I believe it was a 2005 Eddie Guerrero memorial shirt.
R.I.P. Eddie
Yes,
V.
sir. R.I.P. to the GOAT, man. But yeah, that was my first ever shirt. I remember I bought it from a homie for like $30, and then I looked up the value on eBay, and it ended up selling for like $80. It wasn't much, but I mean, it got addictive. From there, I just started stacking up, and
That's hard. So, do you remember the moment like you was thinking to yourself like this might actually work? Like I got this for it and it's doing.
uh, I don't think I've had that moment yet, but I will say what I keep in my head is like, I'm gonna do it regardless. Like, fuck it. Like, even if you know I know I will, but even if I don't make it to all the way to the top where I see myself, at least I went for it. So that's what keeps me going and keeps me humble. I guess it's just you know there's always a new ceiling.
Level, new.
Yeah.
Nah, I definitely feel that. And with you, to be honest, I have to give you a props because definitely what you doing, it seems. I know a lot of people that make clothing. I know a lot of people that do similar things to the thing you do, but it's not quite the same as what you do. It's like one thing I noticed about Back to the Video, it doesn't feel like a regular store. It feel like more of a communal thing for like
Most definitely.
more people that's kind of like you.
Most definitely.
Was that more along the lines of your vision? Would you say that was intentional?
Yes. So I want to say, when I was like 12 to like 18, this is like what I would have wanted to walk into. So it's what I'm building, something that like I would have fallen in love with when I was like 12 to 18 years old. So this is me, man. And yeah, man.
Living out your childhood dreams.
Yeah, most definitely, 100%.
So would you say it was just as important to create a space for people as it was selling clothes?
Yes, but I will say this: clothes has always been important to me, but something that I started noticing around 2020, 2022 is everyone has a clothing brand. Their uncles, their mom, everyone does. So what separates a successful clothing brand from just a clothing brand? Community. So that's why I focus a lot on community. And then even though my heart is in clothing, it's like community is the reps. You have to have a community in order for you to keep on growing, right? Because like I can have the best shirt you could find in the state. If I don't have community, like it ain't nothing, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I oftentimes, well, I say more recently, I notice a lot of people, they want to feel a part of something, and if you can make them feel a part of something, all the while providing them with the clothing that they're looking for, I feel that they tend to receive it better from a community figure, a person that they feel like it's not just a person selling me a shirt. It's they want me a part of what they got going on.
100%, bro. And people don't buy designs; they buy people. So like if they like you, if they like what you got going on, they're gonna purchase from you.
No, I definitely feel that. You've hosted some events, some pop-up, some art shows, and collaborations. Why is those experiences so important to you?
So you said so. I've done pop-ups, art shows. So pop-ups, I like to travel. I like to see new states, new clothing, and then as far as art shows, bro, I'm a fan of art. Like, art is everything to me. So like, I get pleasure of seeing other people bring their work into the shop, and I display it all over the place because, like I said, man, everything you hear is genuinely me. So like, and I know you didn't ask me for this, but if I could give clothing brands any advices, bro, stay true to yourself. Like, because there's a billion people out here, right? There's going to be a large group of people who like everything you like. And the more authentic you are, the more authentic your work is and your community is. So, you know.
No, that definitely is something people need to hear, because a lot of people don't really understand I wouldn't even say all the logistics behind it as far as like getting the pieces, but the mentality needed to sell something to a person. Because I think
Yeah.
there's a difference in selling somebody something, and not to say in a different way, but selling somebody something. Like, if somebody's trying to make you believe them for you to buy something, I feel like that's all the way out of the way. I feel like if you believe in somebody's vision and you follow what they got going on, then you definitely should support. So if you had to describe it in, if somebody never heard the meaning, how would you describe community?
Community? Somewhere where you feel welcome, like like-minded people. You walk in there and you're like, hey, this guy must, even though this guy's a different color or different height than me, like, we're still the same people. That's community to me, and that's literally what BacktoVida is, bro. If you come to any of our events, I love it because diversity is like one of our main things. Yeah, man. But everybody still feels welcome. Everybody still feels like they belong here. So
yeah. That's good. So do you think, because now I want to take you to a round, because whether you I ain't gonna say whether you want to accept it or not, but I see you getting bigger than just an independent clothing brand or whatever. Compared to bigger brands, what is the thing about relationships that they don't get when building with customers?
being authentic, bro. Because like, I feel like being authentic, it's like a smell. Like, even though you can't see it, like, people will smell it from you. Like, like that energy. So yeah, man. Like for example, like, let's say you want to start a clothing brand, but you're seeing someone on Instagram, and you think just because they're doing that, you have to do it. Eventually people will catch on to that, and then it's like, now what I do. But once you become authentic to yourself, like what you're actually interested in, what you actually like, then people can sense that. People will feel that.
Yeah,
and a lot of people, another thing that kills that is ego. I feel like there's a lot of amazing designers here in Little Rock and all Arkansas, but I think what keeps them from growing or from leveling up is their ego, man.
Yeah.
So
everybody got to be the greatest. But this segment is more about your fashion and your love for fashion, all the things of the sort. Where did your love for vintage clothing come from?
That's actually a good question. I actually didn't know anything about vintage, bro, until I went online and looked up ways to make money. So like, when I started my journey, it was around COVID time, and I knew that people were going to stay home, and like, there was going to be money made online. So I went on YouTube and looked up ways to make money online, and more specific on the clothing side. And then that's when the first video that popped up was reselling vintage. And I was like, that's a thing? Like, you telling me like I can sell, you shirt?
Old
Like,
clothes?
I didn't know that, you know what I mean? And that's where I got introduced to like a whole new and at that time, vintage was just now blowing up in places like LA. I remember it was when Migos, ASAP Rocky. They were like some of the first people to rock vintage around like 2017, 18. They were some of the first ones. So it was very new. It was very new to the hip hop and urban side. And yeah, man, I got in it maybe like 2-3 years later, which it was still fresh. Now now the urban community has adopted vintage as one of its own. But
I was going to say,
yeah,
it's been a
it used to not
definite
be like that.
upsurge in the
Yeah.
vintage clothing because I definitely am a heavy thrifter to where I like to find clothes that I'm looking for the 2010 championship shirt.
Yeah,
I'm definitely that type of person. So, and I've been that way for a while, and I definitely noticed as for the past few years, it's been harder to find these vintage clothing as before. So, what makes vintage different from buying brand new to you?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say emotion and memories.
Mm.
So, like, for example, that Eddie Guerrero shirt, right? I was a big fan of Eddie Guerrero when I was a kid. So when I saw that shirt, it brought emotions back from 2005, 2006, 2007, when I was just a kid. And at that time, like, I didn't have that much money, so I couldn't buy those type of stuff. So now when I was able to have that in my hands, I was like, it's just a cocktail of emotions, man. That's what makes vintage and not just a brand. It's the fact that it's a piece of history that you can have in your hands, pretty much.
I definitely, because I think more people. I know now it's a trend.
Yeah.
I see all y'all getting vintage clothes. It's a trend now, but a lot of people, it definitely is sentimental value behind a lot of these pieces from a time, more like a time capsule from a time that maybe you were able to get or maybe you wasn't. So I know you didn't been in the game for a while. Most people they have these. I know a few thrift because I got a few myself. Do you got any grills that you feel like you would never sell?
Oh yeah, most definitely, bro. I have a whole stack of wrestling T-shirts. I have Eddie Guerrero, I have Mankind, I have like the OG Undertaker, all the good ones. Like, yeah, I would never sell them. Just,
I feel that because I definitely got some college football tees never selling.
And it's not like they're worth like crazy. I mean, some are worth like 100 to maybe 200, but it's still like, like it's hard to come across those type of pieces. So
yeah. So speaking of going a little bit back to BacktoVida, I see you drop pieces. You've been along the journey, along this whole journey. I know it might be kind of harder to you because they all mean different to you. What's been one of your favorite pieces from BacktoVida?
Oh, that I've made?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I would say the BacktoVida in the front and then Natural State in the back with the big butterfly. The reason why is because I was actually afraid to drop it because I didn't know if people were going to buy it because it had my actual name on there. At the time, I was still like skeptical. I was like, do people actually, with me, So as soon as I dropped it, man, they sold very well. So it was a very special, feeling to know that, they still bought it.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I guess to you, it probably was always your Instagram name. So it's like selling your name to other people for them to wear.
Well, and the thing was, like, I started with Arkansas stuff. Like, my niche was Arkansas. Like, I sold only vintage Arkansas. I would drop, like, Arkansas hats. So for me to just drop the name BacktoVida was like, like, it could either be a hit or a miss, So, but for it to be, like, a hit, it was just shocking. It was amazing, so.
That is hard. So what's something you think people don't understand about owning a clothing brand?
Yeah, you don't become a millionaire, the people you see on Instagram, with the cars and flexing. I think that is very possible, but man, I think clothing is like an art. It's kind of like a music artist, right? Like you just, man, you got to grind, bro. Like if you actually, like if you're doing clothing, like you have to actually have like a heart for it. Like you got to actually be passionate about it because like don't expect to like make money, within the first, year or two, unless you're the 1%, do it out of love, do it out of love. Just like if you were to play an instrument, do it out of love, So,
Yeah, quality over quantity.
Yes, sir.
So you've been growing this thing, growing it in various ways. Until eventually the BacktoVida Cafe. Why coffee? Why? What made you?
Yeah, that's a good question. So before I opened up the shop, 2 years ago, I was renting out like the Mamel Event Center, and remember I told you I used to do pop-ups, right? So at that time here in Little Rock, there wasn't that many like swap meets going on. So I would rent out venues and rent out booths to like 30 to 40 vendors. And what I noticed was that like people like to have a drink in their hand and shop. So like that just sparked an idea. And then before I opened up this shop, I rented a small spot from Cade up there at Culture. Shout out to Cade. I was there for a few months. I wanted to kind of like see what the fashion, industry was like if I was to open up the spot. And I noticed that, fashion has really good months, but really bad months. So like come like August, September, October, November, December are like the best, to make money. But then come like January, February, and then you got the summer, it's like, so it's like, what can I do to balance it out, So
No,
that's
I
when I
feel
thought
it.
about the
You
coffee shop.
definitely, he definitely got his, y'all. Y'all gotta come try this. This is the tropical, I believe, tropical Vita.
Yeah, Tropical Vita.
Fire.
It's a dirty soda.
Real deal.
Yeah, you just put them on the menu.
Come up here and try it. But most people would have stopped after opening one successful business. What keep you into trying to expand your ventures and even behind the name of BacktoVida?
Man, I got scary dreams, man. And I would say like I don't have a plan B, so I'm just going all in. And
no, I definitely feel that because I feel like people that are creative, such as yourself, it's hard to confine yourself into something that is so like cubular. I feel like the working world, not to say nothing wrong with no 9 to 5, so I feel like all that type of living is cubular. And if you think in painting and strokes and all these things, it's kind of hard to put your mind in a box where everybody else has to go, and to the point where it started being infuriating when you are not living the way that you're supposed to. So I definitely understand like that feeling of I can't lose. I can't fall back because there's nothing but what's in my mind that I got to land
and I just said like when you truly are doing something you like or have a passion about, it doesn't matter if it's good days or bad days, bro. It's a movie to you. You know what I'm saying? Every day's a movie scene. Every day's a mission. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So it's like you start to fall in love with the progress, and then
it grow slowly over there.
Yeah.
What's the goal to build another business? Was the goal to build another business, or was you trying to make a more of a community spot with the cafe?
Oh. So with the whole BacktoVida, I want it to be more focused on community, and then clothing is just like a way of saying I'm part of that community, right? And yeah, man, the goal is to open up a lot of BacktoVidas in different states, man, for sure.
No, I'm definitely looking forward to that. What's your favorite thing on the menu at the cafe?
At the cafe, I'd have to go with the Speedy Vita. Yeah, it's like a mango with Red Bull mixed with some cream and some tahini. Oh man,
yeah,
it's crazy.
This next section is more about your business acumen, trying to give advice to some of the people that may be in similar situations or trying to obtain similar situations. What's the hardest lesson entrepreneurship taught you?
Everything changes, bro. Your friend group, the way the marketing, everything changes. What works today will not work tomorrow. The people you hang out with today, you will not hang out with tomorrow. And I'd say if you truly want to become like entrepreneur, bro, it's fall in love with change. Because if you don't, it's gonna be heavy on you, man. For sure.
Yes, sir. Y'all listen to it. Don't be so stuck in y'all ways. Be willing to adapt to change.
Also, if you stay in those old ways, bro, like you can't get to the next level. You know what I mean? So you gotta every day's a change, man. For sure.
Yes, sir. Going through this, I know you said it's something you love, but even in things we love, we can want breaks or times
For
that we
sure.
may want to quit. Has there been a moment like that for you?
Yes. Well, not quit, but I would say more like get jaded, like get overwhelmed, kind of like I just need a break from it, you know? Because I mean, this is fun, bro. Like the photo shoots, the events, the parties we do, it's fun and everything. But man, it's like it's also a business, bro. It's like, especially whenever you have people relying on you, it's like you're no longer making decisions based out of your interests. Now you're making decisions based on the community and the people you got to pay. So it's it's weight, but it's good. It's good pressure, right? It's good pressure.
So when you are feeling those way, how do you handle the stress when you have those responsibilities?
Yeah, definitely. I would say I get some adrenaline in me. So whether I go for a run or I go to boxing or go out, I try to do the going out. I try to make it the last option, but anything that brings me like that cold water feeling, right? Like, yeah.
I definitely not in the notes, but I definitely noticed you are a very big hiker and you like to.
Oh yes, yeah, definitely.
Go through hikes. So what's one mistake every young entrepreneur makes?
One mistake that's a good question. What is one mistake every entrepreneur makes? I'll tell you one mistake that I made, because I don't want to speak for everybody else, but I would say putting too much trust into something, whether it be on a drop, on a plan, on a person, at the end of the day, like I said, man, you have to be okay with chaos. You have to be okay with change, because yeah, I was not expecting, like, even though like and we're doing good, but even though like it looks like I got it all together, I really don't. I'm still learning every day. I'm learning every day. I'm learning something new every day. I'm going through a new obstacle. So yeah, man, I would definitely say
No, I definitely feel that, and a lot of people, I really do this, especially with people that have business, to give people. There's a lot of people that really don't know, have no idea, or have a different perception on the way things really go in the real life.
Right.
And I just want them to see that it ain't, even though you just see it one way, it ain't all like that for everybody. So everybody go through their time and their days. So it's no different from y'all in y'all life.
But like I said, as long as you're passionate about whatever it is that you're going into business or doing for a living, bro, it doesn't matter if it's a good day or a bad day. Like, you're still going to be grateful at the end of the day, Like, I could have, the worst day today, but if I go home, I'm still grateful that I get to live, the opportunity of me doing something I actually am passionate about,
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Now, this is about the state, Little Rock,
Yeah.
and surrounding areas. My conversation on Cut is really based around Arkansas people, everything Arkansas, and is mainly focused on, putting a spotlight on the state. You put a lot into Arkansas. Why stay? I mean, not specifically Arkansas, but Little Rock specifically. Why stay and try to build when you could have just lived?
Because nobody else is doing it, man. So I got to do it, And I've had a lot of people say that, like, bro, go to LA, go to Dallas, do what you're doing. If you do it over there, nah, man, like, you don't understand. Like, Arkansas it's a beautiful place, bro. And especially like if you work hard and you put a lot of effort into your craft, like, it'll be more noticeable than going to like Atlanta or Dallas, where you got like 60 other shops like mine in the whole strip. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So look around, work with what you got, So, but sometimes you do have to travel. At the end of the day, it's like the Bible says, man, know thyself. Once you know who you are and what cards you're given, play your cards. Play your cards.
Yes, sir. What do you think Little Rock could become over the next 10 years?
I hope like NWA, like Fayetteville, Bentonville. 100%. I don't know. Have you been there? It's NWA, bro. Like,
it's definitely a different vibe, but It seems like it's slowly coming our way.
Slowly but surely. Yeah. I mean, it's something that recently this year you started to see more is run clubs, bike clubs. Like those are big communities, and that brings positive change, but it also causes a domino effect. People like you and me to be like, oh, like we can do that. It kind of gives people permission to like be themselves, right? It just takes that one person to say, okay, I'm gonna do it, and then they do it, and then next thing you know, a lot of people are doing other cool things. So yeah, man, I say just keep doing what you're doing. I gotta keep doing everybody plays their part, and then it just because that's how a city that's how a community and culture is built. It's through people, bro. It's through people.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. If you had unlimited resources, what's one thing you would build for this city?
For this city? Well, that's a good question. All right, so I believe my purpose is community, but my calling is kids. So I would build something like a school or something where kids can go, from the ages from like 7 to like 15, whether, somewhere where they can go and express themselves and be taught that, you don't have to go this route. There's plenty of other routes you can go to. So that's something I would invest in is kids, man. Kids.
Now that's definitely what we need around here, and people with that said mindset. All right, my next section is the rapid fire question, which is short answers, just short questions for you. Some of them are this or that, and some of them are just short answers.
Go for it.
First question: coffee or energy drink?
Energy drinks.
Nike or New Balance?
Nike.
Vintage or designer?
Oof. Designer.
Early mornings or late nights?
Late nights.
What's the biggest risk you take?
BacktoVida.
Dream collaboration?
Ooh. Amiri.
Favorite city you visited?
That I visited? I would say Denver, Colorado.
Favorite artist?
Favorite artist? DK.
Biggest business inspiration?
Ooh, 7 Brew.
Mm-hmm. What's one thing you still chasing?
One thing I'm still chasing? My purpose.
That's hard. Another question. Well, I got a few more questions, but these ones you can use more than a short answer. What legacy do you want BacktoVida to leave?
I have this thing that I came up with. And it goes like this: is do something, be something that brings you back to life.
That's hard.
Yeah, man.
BacktoVida. What motivates you when nobody is watching?
Pain.
I feel that.
Yeah.
If everything disappeared tomorrow and you had to start over with just your knowledge, could you do it again?
Hell yeah.
No, I feel that. So 5 years from now, what do you hope people are saying about Carlos Roman?
He's trying his best. He's doing his best he can.
That's hard. Everybody watching is trying to become something bigger than they are today. What's one piece of advice you'll leave them with?
Judge yourself by who you were yesterday.
Nah, but as far as questions, that's all I got for you today.
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming through, bro. I think this interview will leave people realizing that BacktoVida is bigger than just a clothing brand. We're here for community, y'all. We gotta come together. We're trying to make this the biggest that there is. Y'all know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna drop all the information down below. And this has been another episode of Conversation in the Cut. And we at